Hey guys, welcome to PB Garage. Quick video today, we're just going to have a look at taking the belly pan off this RX8. Now you guys can see why I'm under here. I've actually got an oil cooler line that's burst, so I've coated oil onto the whole bottom of the car. So I just got to get this belly pan off so that I can get in there and replace that oil line. Now, doing a little bit of research on the internet, I found that this was something that was not very well documented, and it is a little bit tricky because you come under here and you look and you see, okay, there's some push pins that go in certain spots and some bolts that go in certain spots. Now, probably this is a good advertisement for getting under there and checking your stuff anyways, because this car came to me, I haven't touched it yet, and it's missing about half the hardware. Now, where it got a little tricky for me, having never done this, so I get under here and I'm removing, the push pins and the bolts and stuff, and I noticed that it's got these rivets holding the sides of the little splash pan on here, so those can't be separated. And what I'm gonna have to do is actually get in here to the wheel well and remove this little splash guard that's just behind the oil cooler, so that I can get at the hardware at the top of that belly pan where it curls up and meets the body up here. Now, this splash guard you guys can probably remove just by turning the wheel and getting access to the push pins that are on the edges here and up top. But in my case, because I've got oil all over everything, including the brakes here, just all doused in oil, so I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time cleaning everything up. So I'm gonna jack the car up a little bit here and remove my wheel, clean all that stuff up, and then while I'm in there, I'll be able to have easy access to this little splash guard here, remove that, and then pull this whole belly pan right off. And once I do that, I will show you guys just when this is out on the ground where all the hardware is, so that when you guys are working on your own car, you can see easily where all those push pins go in and all the bolts. And that should give you a pretty good idea how to tackle this job. So what I've removed from the splash guard here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those little push pins at the top, 2 on the side, and then if we go have a look underneath, you can see on the bottom edge here I had to remove 3 little bolts with 8mm heads, and then 2 more of those little push pins. So there's 1 there and 1 here. So then that should allow me to pull, yep, there's that whole splash guard out of the way. So now I've got both splash guards off. The only hardware I would have to take off now to remove this belly pan is sort of those push pins here along the front edge of the bumper. And then at the back here, I would have normally, if it wasn't already missing, there'd be an M6 bolt here, and same thing on the other side here. 2 more of those little push pins at the back. And then here's the tricky part, that is there's a 1 push pin up here at the front just by the oil cooler, 10mm bolt here, and then this would have been another push pin if it wasn't missing. So right here, sort of close to the front suspension, that's the last one. And once all that stuff's out, obviously same thing on the passenger side, once all that stuff's out, I'll be able to remove my belly pan here and replace my oil line. So I've got my belly pan off now. I just thought it'd be handy to have a look at everything off the car. Might be a little bit easier to see. So you guys can see how this splash guard blocks, that bolt and the little plastic rivet that goes in that hole. So plastic rivets on that and a couple of bolts. And then these guys pull off. And once you've got both of those guys off, it's a lot easier to get at this hardware here. And the only other thing, if you guys are under the car and trying to figure it out, so you've got, plastic rivet, bolt, a couple more plastic rivets, and then all the plastic rivets at the front, and that's all there is to it. Hopefully, if you guys are looking to do this yourself, this video is helpful for you. In my case, I'm doing it to get at these oil lines here that are going to my oil cooler. This guy here is leaking quite a bit, and I need to replace it. Now, I wouldn't necessarily have to remove the belly pan if I had an issue with that hose, because it actually comes apart right here. But in my case, like, everything's so corroded, I'm gonna try and replace that whole hose all the way back to the motor. So if you guys are interested in seeing that job, sub to the channel and you'll see me post that video up in a little bit. Until then, have a good one, and we'll see you guys next time.